afternoon. It's glad to see you again. Welcome to TV47 at 4. My name is Peter Kamau. Now, a Kajiado court has granted police permission to detain activist Bob Njagi for 7 more days to allow detectives to complete investigations into allegations of incitement linked to the Gen Z memorial protest. Senior Principal Magistrate Sarah Mwangi of the Kajiado Law Courts declined a police application seeking to detain Njagi for 14 days, instead authorizing his detention until July 2nd, 2026. The court also directed that 2 mobile phones recovered from the activist be surrendered to detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations for forensic examination as part of the ongoing investigations. A section of Gen Z youth have defended their decision not to participate in the June 25th demonstration, citing heavy police deployment and alleged intimidation of youth leaders. The youth argued that the government's responsibility is to protect citizens exercising their constitutional right to peaceful assembly rather than intimidate them. They also called on political leaders to abandon divisive politics and instead work with young people to promote national unity and development. The group reaffirmed its commitment to pursuing governance reforms through peaceful and lawful means.
Yesterday, we refused to be used by activists. We have decided that henceforth, Gen Zs are going to decide how they want to run their affairs on their own. Nobody is going to decide for comrades anymore. And any commercial activist that is receiving funding out there, thinking that is going to take innocent kids to the street to die, we are not coming to the street again.
We can make our own discretions, and of course without any influence. We said it that we are not going to the streets, and we never went, because this is our country. Yes. And one thing that we want to tell you, good people, we know most of you who are coming to gaslight the Gen Zs, you have lived your years. You are old enough. You are living in your dreams. You have achieved your dreams. Now it's our turn to dream and to become.
UDA National Organizing Secretary and Mwala MP Vincent Musyoka Kawaya has accused a section of opposition leaders of exploiting the Gen Z anniversary demonstrations for political gain instead of offering solutions to the country's challenges. Speaking in Mwala, Kawaya alleged that some opposition politicians played a role in mobilizing young people during the 2024 Finance Bill protest, which resulted in the loss of lives and destruction of property. He claimed the same leaders are now using the anniversary commemorations to advance their political agenda rather than addressing the issues affecting Kenyans. The Mwala MP, who is also President William Ruto's pointman in the Ukambani region, urged political leaders to pursue constructive engagement and focus on initiatives that promote national unity and development.
Wengine walipiga mdomo wakaambia majenzi waende sijui wakachome wapi, na nyinyi jenzi wa hapa mmesema badala ya kuenda kuchoma, sisi tutajipea shughuli tuweze kulaunch basi yetu. Wapi makofi kwenu? People who call themselves leaders, but instead of offering solutions, they are inciting our youths. They are inciting our Gen Zs to ban Kenya. We have no room for such leaders. Wao wenyewe ndio walileta mapropaganda za finance bills, uongo mtupu ambao walidanganya vijana wetu kwamba even hiyo finance bill ambayo iliumiza vijana wetu eti ilikuwa na shida. Na mumeona hata hii finance bill ya last week, mumeona wakijaribu kuleta propaganda. Lakini hii wakati tulikuwa tumejipanga, mtu akidanganyana katika TV tunamwambia atuonyeshe ni wapi.
Elsewhere, Kipipiri MP Wanjiku Mohia's legal team has walked out of proceedings before the IEBC Code of Conduct Enforcement Committee, citing lack of jurisdiction and alleging bias in the handling of the matter. The legal team, led by Gatanga MP Edward Murio and advocate Ndegu Wanjiro, said they no longer had confidence in the committee and would move to High Court to challenge its jurisdiction. However, IEBC Commissioner Alutalala Mkwana, who was presiding over the proceedings on behalf of Commission Chairperson Erastus Ethekon, maintained that the committee has the legal mandate to hear the matter and said a ruling would be delivered in due course. Kipipiri MP Wanjiku Mohia did not attend the proceedings held at the IEBC headquarters.
The Electoral Code of Conduct, by some alleged utterances made in Olkalau during the campaigns which are ongoing in the by-election. Here we have a plethora of lawyers appearing for Wanjiku Mohia, and as the law provides, you can appear as a person or appear through counsel, and therefore we excused our client to continue the campaigns in Olkalau as the lawyers come before this committee. And what we have found before this committee is shocking to this country. Number one, we have told the committee that the notice which they gave our client is against the Fair Administration Act.
In other news, climate action and environmental accountability took center stage in Nairobi as global NGOs and African delegates gathered for the Global NGO Stakeholder Summit on climate change and environmental responsibility. The two-day summit is focusing on climate financing, corporate environmental responsibility, and community-led conservation, with leaders also calling for greater youth engagement in dialogue following the recently signed finance bill.
To meddle around the TV. So one time I had to wear over 3 UN, apart from 17 sustainable development agenda, there is one call we always make, that we should not leave anyone behind going forward. And also as FAO, we work to ensure that we try for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life.
The time has come now for the government to set aside a fund that is going to deal with those issues. And it won't just about preparing, cleaning out the drains and culverts. We can prepare sand dams to harvest water. We can, so that, you know, by the end of the El Nino, we have water that can last us until the next rainy season.
The National Construction Authority has launched a major crackdown on construction sites across Mombasa Island following a rise in illegal building alterations that pose a serious threat to public safety. The operation targeted developments suspected of violating approved building plans, with the authority warning that non-compliant projects will face strict legal action. Speaking during the exercise, NCA Compliance Manager, Architect Stephen Mwilu, said some developers are illegally adding extra floors beyond those approved, comprising the structural integrity of buildings and putting lives at risk. He urged developers to strictly adhere to approved plans, warning that the NCA will intensify inspections to curb the dangerous trend.
Many of the constructions in Mombasa, they are getting the approvals. But the approval they are getting are for a certain number of levels. But then there is extensions, extra floors that are going on. The sites that we have walked around with you, many of them have the approvals from the county and the NCA for a certain level. But when you go to the actual site, you find the floors are above. If you remember, the site that collapsed recently in Mombasa, it was an issue of extra floors. The 2, 3, 4 sites we have visited, it's extra floors. So what we want to ask our developers, our colleague county agencies, our consultants is, let's design, let's agree from day one what number of floors we are going. So there is an issue of extra floors coming in along the way. And the foundation, will they have taken care of those extra floors? So I think that's something that we are noting in Mombasa, and that's something that we need to work together as stakeholders to make sure that does not happen.
In other news, women from Oloilbilil ward in Kajiado County have called for stronger legal protection for donkeys, urging the government to enact legislation that safeguards the animals from cruelty and illegal trade. The call was made during a donkey vaccination exercise organized by the African Network for Animal Welfare, where more than 2,000 donkeys were vaccinated in an effort to improve their health and welfare. The women emphasized the vital role donkeys play in their daily lives, describing them as indispensable companions that support households through the transport of water, firewood, farm produce and other essential goods. They also issued a stern warning to individuals who subject donkeys to abuse, neglect or any form of cruelty, insisting that the welfare of the animals must be respected and protected.
Serikali wamesema mtu anatesa punda anaweka ndani kabisa.
Sasa mapunda inatusaidia sana kwa sababu wakati wa kiangazi tunaenda nazo kwa milima, tunabeba naye nyasi ya ng'ombe na tasaidia ng'ombe sana. Ndio tunaenda kuchota naye maji, tunaletea yenye imeshindwa kwenda nyumbani tunakuletea nazo na punda maji na nyasi.
We are quite aware that our neighbors, Tanzania, have put a ban on the export and movement of donkeys into Kenya. And that one has actually helped in curbing the theft of this specific animal as well as its smuggling to fuel the ongoing slaughter of donkeys in the bushes as well as harvesting of their skins.
And that's where we wrap up TV47 at 4. And as you can see, the set is ready. Coming up next is World Cup Extra with Katela Mezi, Boniface Kimazi and Tony Kwalanda. I hope you do enjoy it. As for me, I leave you now. Time to have yourself a lovely afternoon. See you tomorrow at 1 p.m.